In today's video, we're going to talk about the Flash movie, which comes out June the 16th. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the real post-credit scene, the real ending, and the fact that maybe this forced marketing, shoving the Flash movie in marketing in your face, maybe end up backfiring because recent tracking is pretty bad, to be honest, based on the fact that they had a Super Bowl advert. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Wish you here if you're new around and make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, gaming, pop culture based content that we try to cover on a daily basis. If you're good, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know, have you seen The Flash at one of these fan screenings, which realistically isn't the real finished version of the movie? Are you highly anticipated for the movie? Let me know. What do you think the post-credit scene's actually gonna be? Because it's a big mystery, but apparently it's out there, so we're gonna discuss it. So, also check us out on Instagram at WatchYou to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, and also if you could check us out on Twitter, WatchYou. Right, let's get into this video. So, it's worth saying I haven't actually watched the movie yet. I have a press screener coming up shortly, which will be the finished version of this movie because I don't want to go to a fan screen. And what's the point of watching the movie when it's not the final cut? I get it. It's almost like it's false marketing, getting a bunch of fans to watch an unfinished version of the movie so they can hype up for you. It's kind of clever, but kind of stupid at the same time. So, let's get into today's video. So, there is a lot of conjecture. There's a lot of back and forth from people that haven't even seen the movie about how well it's tracking. So, allegedly, according to the internet, it was tracking in America. I don't really care for domestic. I care for international because that's where I am. So, it was tracking allegedly between $115 and $150 million, which is not very good. It's the Flash. It is the Flash character, one of the greatest comic book characters ever. That's not crazy numbers. So apparently, according to all the reactions, this is the greatest movie ever, and it's going to break every single record. Well, I hate to tell you this, the reactions are out for Across the Spideyverse, and that movie has the best reactions I've ever seen for a movie. So it was allegedly tracking between 115 and 140, and then all of a sudden, it was reported all over the internet that it's only tracking $70 million. And then there's no end of YouTube fanboy channels talking about, oh my god, no, it's going to get 150 to $200 million domestically. It doesn't really matter what it does opening weekend as long as it made money, because realistically, Aquaman 1 banged $1 billion and realistically didn't break records opening weekend because it had legs. The same with Joker. It didn't do crazy numbers opening weekend because it's got legs. The biggest factor here is the Flash movie actually gonna have legs. So I usually, if I want to watch movies early, get to go and watch them early. I'm getting to see the Flash early if I choose to go, which I most likely will, but I decided to look at my local cinema, which is one of the biggest cities in England. So I looked at it. Empty opening day. Literally every screener from 10 a.m. to 8 a.m. is empty. So people keep saying, yo, there's so much hype about this movie. And I'm thinking, is there? If there is so much hype, why are you getting Terry Crews to come out and say, yo, it's a great movie? Go and see it. June the 16th. It's really weird to see someone like Terry Crews, who's kind of a celebrity in a roundabout way. The fact that he said June the 16th when there's a picture of him and you literally see in the picture June the 16th, because every fan screening, you're seeing the same thing. And you get an actress that plays American Chavez, even she's hyping it up. Tom Cruise is hyping it up. Stephen King, the author, is hyping it up. Edgar Wright is hyping it up. Who's gonna be next? Kim Kardashian? Carla Jenner? Kanye West? War Stew? I won't hype it up unless it's actually really good. But you get my point. All this hype, and it's like, okay, we're getting all this hype, and they're even advertising the Screen X, the 40R, the viewing where you can literally have a 3D view of it if you turn your head, but they're really bad if you ask me. Realistically, you should watch an IMAX. So all this marketing, I don't believe the budget is as low as what they're saying. So apparently it's $220 million for production for the movie. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. But either way, this movie has to make a lot of money just to break even. But that's not what we're here for. Is it really? Does it really have so much hype? I've spoke to some really big YouTubers behind the scenes, and they don't know. They're like, yo, it's weird there's celebrities advertising a movie, but there's no celebrities advertising Transformers or Across the Spideyverse or Indiana Jones or any other movie. I've been doing YouTube for a minute now, and I can't remember any time Celebrities were actually going, yo, please go see this movie. It's desperation, if you ask me. Desperation. Then you've got people hyping it up that haven't even seen it, making out it's going to be the greatest comic movie ever from the trailers. And then when I say this line, you've literally seen the best scenes from the trailers that are going to be in the movie. Like, you're wrong. It's like, well, I've read the whole plot leak. I've spoken to people that watch it, and they said, yeah, there's a few things here and there. There's a few things in the Speed Force, a few Easter eggs here and there. But narratively speaking, you've already seen most of the movie. So there's a lot of conjecture about which cut they've seen. So as far as I know, from real sources, not from people making stuff up in their head, they've only screened the cinema conversion to everyone, to all the test screening. I say test screening because it's not the actual finished version. So the fan screenings that happened across America, they were only shown one cut. Now, there were some people on the Twitter sphere trying to make out the final cut was shown, and I've personally reached out to my contacts at Warner Brothers, and they've told me that nobody has seen the real cut yet. And they said to me, no one's seeing the real cut to the premiere or to the press screenings, not fan screenings. So until you get to the world premiere, which I presume is in LA, until you get the premieres in each and every country, but still then, I was told the ending will stick for sure, but they still weren't sure about the post credits if they're being added into press screeners. So a little bit unsure there. But one thing for sure is the final cut hasn't been shown. I'm here to debunk that. So there's a lot of information going around about what is the final cut? What is the final ending? Well, the final cut has not been shown, but we allegedly know the final ending and the post credit scenes. And to be honest, they're not really that much different from the original ending and the original post credit scenes, if you like. Now, one thing you need to know is if you understand the Flash character, the fact that he can run back in time to anywhere that he wants to go. He can run to any timeline. He can go back and forth. He can manipulate time. He can change time. So realistically, although there is going to be a new DC universe, you can't erase everything that came before because the Flash can just run back in time and mess things up if he wants to. But one thing he can't do is he can't live in a world where his mother, Nora Allen, is still alive post Ebar Thawne supposedly having to kill her on a certain set point, or else you'd create the Flashpoint paradox, which the Flash movie was actually supposed to be. But the Flash movie is not the Flashpoint paradox. It's kind of like a variation of what would happen in a universe where Barry Allen's mother is still alive, and adding a bunch of Batman in it for no apparent reason because Michael Keaton's going to sell the movie. But if this movie doesn't bang $1 billion, then it will be a flop, will it? No, it won't. But the amount of hype this movie's got, it's got, well, fabricated hype, not organic hype. When you got people advertising it, and it's like sponsored posts, Warner Bros. Partner, as part of advertising on stuff like Instagram and stuff, you have to make it public knowledge it's a sponsored post, which generally means it's paid. You're not putting paid post or Warner Bros. Partner and then hashtag ad, which you have to do according to the advertising agencies in some countries. Basically, they are paying people to say the movie is good, which I don't agree with. Whether they actually got physical money or whether they just got to watch it early, it's still a partnership in a way, because I hate to tell you this, but people don't get invited to events for free. They do it if you get, I've been to, if you check the Instagram at War Stew, I went to the Ant-Man 3 press screener, the Guardians of the Galaxy one, the Batman one. They expect you to make some kind of post. They don't ask you, but they expect to. But I have realized from the people that actually went to the Flash one, Warner Bros. Partners is in the post, which makes me think it's paid, but I don't know if it is paid, but it's looking very suspicious. So let's break down the actual ending. So the original ending reads like this. So the context is the movie is obviously Save the Day, etc. The context is, had he stopped his mother from being killed, it would have caused a cataclysmic, a crisis, a new universe where he would have gotten corrupted by power because he thinks he can control time, and the creature is dissolved away. So it never basically happened. Basically, his mum needs to die in order for them to appreciate life, in order for him to appreciate having the power. And that's essentially the moral of the whole movie. He's got to realize he can't manipulate stuff just because he can run back and forth in time. He goes back to a normal timeline. The next scene is them at the courthouse. We've seen this scene in the trailer. We've also seen the behind the scenes shots in London when they did it. Henry Allen's case is reopened, and there's new evidence that may prove that he is innocent. That's a happy ending, but we're not done. Then the same Mercedes-Benz from the beginning when it was Batfleck. But this time the door opens and it's none other than Christian Bale. No, I'm joking. It's actually Ben Affleck. No, I'm joking. It's actually Michael Keaton. So, not Batfleck or Christian Bale. Michael Keaton rocks up out of the Mercedes-Benz, and then Supergirl shows up. This scene is actually in one of the trailers, and a lot of people mentioned this when they got out of the fan screening, that the Supergirl scene going, yo, what the freaking hell, was not in the movie. Barry is very confused. He's like, wait a minute. How are you here? I chose to put the can of tomato back. Can of tomato is very important. My mum died. How are you here? And they're like, well, maybe you can tell us. And this is where the movie ends. Okay, cool story, bro. Now, the original post-credit scenes was going to be this. The post-credit scene starts with Barry helping out a drunk Aquaman out of the bar. Jason Momoa does have a cameo. And then Barry's like, wait, here, he's all messed up, whatever. So he goes home, turns on the computer, goes to the fridge to get milk or something, then gets a distress call on his monitor. He goes to it, and it's Ben Affleck, Batman in the bat suit, essentially. And he's like, Barry, you got to help. You changed the timeline. You need to rescue me. It's implied it's another universe, and somehow he can talk to them. Not stated that it's a post-credit scene. Ben Affleck, Batman, does still exist somewhere, and Barry might have to go back in time. So obviously that's not the actual post-credit scene here. This is the original one. We need to explain the context. So essentially, to shorten this, the ending that everyone has seen thus far is actually pretty basic. It's a pretty basic ending. It's pretty similar to what everyone was expecting to happen, is he ends up in some timeline where he thinks it's the Batfleck timeline, and it's actually going to be the George Clooney timeline, and George Clooney, and he's in the George Clooney verse. And this is not actually new information. It's been out there for quite a long time. I do find it interesting when people love to make out they've got exclusive information, but there's actually an article that I came across from the Weekly Planet podcast hosts Nick Mason and James Clement shared a scoop during their Hot Scoop of Shot Poop segment, claiming that the former George Clooney will be making an appearance in the film. The rumor came from a listener claiming they worked on additional photography for the summer's blockbuster, during which the now 61-year-old Clooney allegedly arrived on set for a brief cameo with Ezra Miller. The source noticed that the sequence would likely be included as a post-credit or mid-credit scene. The source did note that there is a possibility that Warner Bros. Could decide not to use it, basically. So the scene that everyone got at CinemaCon and the scene that everyone got and the moment was essentially there being a new Batman and you not knowing who it actually is. A lot of people like to talk about this like they've got exclusive information, but pretty much everything I'm saying in this video has been around for a long time. It's just the post-credit scene seems to be juggled in a roundabout way. So the scene supposedly we see Ezra Miller, Flash, approach Bruce from behind, but he turns around and it's Clooney, not Christian Bale, not Ben Affleck, not Keaton, it's Clooney, suggesting that if true, Barry Allen may land in George Clooney's universe, the Batman and Robin universe, by the end of the multiverse movie, which is interesting. So this is where some people seem to think that Ezra Miller, the Flash, is going to be stuck in the Clooneyverse. And it's like, do you not understand the Flash character? You don't even need to watch the movie to understand the Flash can go wherever he wants as long as he doesn't actually mess about with anything, change anything. So he's not going to get stuck there. If he wants to go back to the SnyderVerse or the DCEU, he could do that. If he wants to appear in the new DCU, he could do that. So this is the big mystery. Who is the Batman going to be? And I don't actually think this is a big mystery because George Clooney, he's 61 years old. Yeah, I get it. Michael Keaton is older, sure. And they were setting Michael Keaton up to be kind of a role model, hence why he was in Batgirl, etc. But they scrapped that plan. So don't be expecting George Clooney to be the DCU Batman. It would have been better if they could have convinced Christian Bale, but Christian Bale would not do it unless it was under the watchful eye of Christopher Nolan. So that's the magic mystery. So in the screeners, the test screener, the fan screener, the CinemaCon, you don't know who it is, you don't get to see it, it's left ambiguous, and the ending's always been ambiguous. It's just a case, are they going to actually reveal George Clooney? We don't know, because like I say, no one's actually physically seen this. I don't care what your sources say. No one has physically seen this unless you are the directors or you are Warner Bros. Discovery or you're someone like the DC studio heads. No one's actually seen it. So last night, someone sent me some stuff. Credit to them. I would say who it is, but they don't want me to say that. So it comes from, can we take some toast? According to that person, this person's really reliable. And to be fair, I think he is pretty reliable. So The Flash finalized end credit scene shows Arthur and Barry talking in a bar about Batman, seamlessly putting an end to the SnyderVerse. Now, I don't really agree with that, because if you understand the Flash, he can run back, he can run forward, he can run any way he wants to run. Putting an end to the SnyderVerse, we know that they are setting up the new DC universe. So if he wanted to run back in time and go chill with his homie Batfleck, he could do that. So My Time to Shine pretty much confirmed it and said, yep, it's pretty true. But what's interesting here is someone responded saying, wait, so the Batman, the Flash, and Aquaman are talking about the end credit is about Clooney. So Aquaman is also in the Clooneyverse as well? And then My Time to Shine, these mystery accounts, he, she, no idea who it is, sure looks like it. You don't need to watch the movie realistically to understand the Flash can go back and forth. So if Ezra Miller is going to stay on as the Flash, he could go back to SnyderVerse. If they wanted to do some storyline, some Crisis in Infinite Earth event, which they were going to do anyway, later down the road, I'm probably not the first person to say this, they could actually do that if they wanted to. So does the ending of the movie wipe out the SnyderVerse like everyone initially thought it was going to? No, not really. It really doesn't. But you could take it that way if you wanted to take it that way, which is fascinating, because if they wanted to recast the Flash, they could do that, because if he is stuck in said Clooneyverse, we don't know the timeline. So apparently the Batman ending where he gets stuck in the Clooneyverse happens, then we get to the Arthur Curry Ezra Miller Flash scene, which would imply he's no longer in the Clooneyverse, but he could be stuck there. I don't know the timeline of these events. So apparently the ending is he gets stuck in the Clooneyverse. It's George Clooney, but actually Bruce Wayne, not Michael Keaton, not Christian Bale, not Ben Affleck. And then the final end credit scene is them seamlessly putting an end to the SnyderVerse. The way it's worded, I don't really think that's going to be the case, but it is interesting. We did describe the original one where Arthur Curry was actually drunk. Barry is drinking in a bar with Arthur Curry. He's saying how we used to have Superman, not Supergirl. Arthur Curry is too drunk to understand. Barry takes Arthur to the HQ that we saw in the Zack Snyder Justice League. All the screens start flashing when Ben Affleck, Batman, appears inside LexCorp, asking what Barry did, he needs help. So that would have been 10 times better. And it's clear that James Gunn got involved, because if that really stuck and if that was the real post-credit scene, you would know that DC Studios haven't got involved. And whatever post-credit scene, ending scene they have, it's still left very ambiguous to what is happening realistically going forward, because realistically, it doesn't actually erase anything. It doesn't answer any questions. It does set up a new Batman. It might not even end up being Clooney. That could be a completely different scene where it sets up the new Batman. We don't know, but you know me on the channel. I cover all leaks, all rumors, all news, all theories. I literally cover anything to do with pop culture, Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse-based stuff. So that is everything on the internet. But as I keep alliterating and as I keep saying, nobody, not the press, nobody has seen the real ending scene and the real post-credit. And if anyone is saying they've seen it, they're just lying, because I've spoke to Warner Bros. Personally, and they've told me that no one's watched it yet until the premiere. For some reason, they're being top secret about the ending and post-credits, but we've just gone over the information that came courtesy of My Time to Shine and came courtesy of Can We Get Toast? And to be fair, Can We Get Toast has a pretty good track record. My Time to Shine, hit and miss, but he, she, they have been right multiple times before. So make of that what you want. I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's not real, but I'm saying a lot of people are saying the same thing. Also, it's worth saying I've reached out to a bunch of people who went to the screener in America the week that's just gone, and they all described the exact same ending of the movie. But guess what? They weren't in the same location, which means they screened the same cut from CinemaCon. Sure, when we get to the theatrical release and the press screener, Andy Muschietti did say there will be little changes, little things that are slightly different, 5 to 10%, adding Easter eggs. They are holding some stuff back. That's why I say Grant Gustin the Flash could still appear. He could be Reverse Flash. I don't believe there's not going to be some Reverse Flash teaser in the movie, but as far as I know, outside of the yellow lightning in the scene where Nora Allen gets killed that we've seen in the trailer, I haven't heard officially that there will be a Reverse Flash in the movie, but I've heard rumblings. I've told you that already on the channel. The Grant Gustin thing was more of a theory rather than factual information. But hopefully this is going to be real, because it does sound pretty dope. It leaves it ambiguous, leaves the SnyderVerse open because they can run back in time, but it also does set in stone that there are other universes and Barry can run into them. But realistically, does it end the SnyderVerse? No, the SnyderVerse ended years ago, realistically. Because outside of the backyard scene in Zack Snyder's garden, where he filmed the nightmare scene, Zack Snyder's not actually filmed anything since 2017. So the SnyderVerse is dead and buried. And the whole sell the SnyderVerse to Netflix is the most ridiculous thing online. There's literally more chance of me appearing in The Flash. Hang on a minute. There actually is a scene in The Flash where maybe you may see someone you may know if you actually look hard enough. I don't know because I've not seen it yet. So I can't tell you if that scene's actually going to happen, but it would be interesting if your boy appears or not. I don't know. Let's see what the actual final cut produces. The courthouse scene. Just look carefully in the background of that scene when you watch the movie. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Wish You to See the beautiful face behind the beautiful face. Check us out on Twitter, Wish You G, and I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.